Welcome to the Chasing Ebenezer show. This is a show where we talk about stuff, play you some music, and encourage you to be creative. This season, we are exploring the art of being human. We want to say thank you to our patrons who support us each month. If you want to know more about that, visit us on patreon.com/Chasing Ebenezer. For more information about our musical endeavors, visit chasingebenezer.com. We hope you enjoy the show. Hey everybody, welcome to the Chasing Ebenezer show. I'm Benjamin and this is Heidi, in case you forgot.
I'm also thinking about changing our names to Rooster and the Egg.
Why would I be the egg?
I don't know. Maybe it's that smooth surface and my out of control hair.
That's why I'm wearing my hipster toupee right now. We're so glad to be here. This is season 3 of the Chasing Ebenezer show, and we're talking about what it means to be human. That is such a big question. We think it takes at least one season for us to start talking about it. So anyway, what are you excited about? I know you've been gearing up to share this story. Don't you love it when people are excited about someone else's mishap?
I am excited about my favorite Ben story to date. So, you like to have your chocolate bars cold.
I do.
So you often keep them in the fridge, in like the door of the fridge. So
yeah, that's the place where most chocolate goes in our house.
Okay, so the other night, this was in the door, and if you're just listening, it's a thin box. Okay, and you pulled out this.
And before she finishes the story, she buys chocolates that are not necessarily.
I buy like.
You buy what you call.
I don't tend to buy name brand things.
Exactly.
I'll go to like Grocery Outlet or other places. I like.
So me seeing chocolate in a weird shape,
or a different box. Yeah, I just buy.
For me.
Okay, and then it's chocolate. It looks like this. Now I do want to note that on the other side of the box, there is a white cat and something that says Fancy Feast. On the other side, it says mouth-watering savory treats and easy break-apart bars. I will admit that if you're not paying attention to what you're eating, it looks exactly like a chocolate bar.
And it had been a really long, and I mean long day.
So...
Yes, I ate cat food.
I ate Punky's cat food. And I laughed, I think probably for 15 minutes. I felt bad. I could not stop laughing. I was in so much pain.
Yes, you were.
So the lesson that we learned is that, always read the box before you eat something.
Rule to live by.
And I do admit that I put it in the fridge, in the door of the fridge as well. So I can see why it could be confusing, but...
And also...
So thank you, Fancy Feast. Punky loves these. So if you want to send us a whole crate of them, we would love that. And thank you for providing a hilarious moment. What did it taste like? Share with us what Fancy Feast savory cravings taste like.
So a sequence of events that transpired where I took a bite out of it and I thought, I wonder if this is just the kind of chocolate you cook with. And then I'm
like baking chocolate that had sugar in it? Okay.
Right, but then all of a sudden you scream, and then I look, and I realize, oh my, I just ate cat food. I didn't think, oh my. And I immediately ran to the trash can and proceeded to get it out of my mouth as quickly as possible.
Oh, so funny.
Let me tell you something about cat food. It doesn't rinse out very easily.
So, that has provided tons and tons of enjoyment for me to tell anyone I can about this. So, there you go.
Hello, Internet.
Chocolate meat. There you go.
Chocolate meat.
Chocolate cat meat. All right. What are you excited about?
Well, no one will be able to match the level of excitement you had over that. But I'm excited because you got me tickets to go see Ben Harper in September. September.
I'm pretty cool.
She is pretty cool. Ben Harper is probably second to like Dave Matthews. He's probably one of my biggest influences. And so I've never seen him live. If you've never listened to Ben Harper, every album is amazing. So go listen to Ben Harper. But we get to see him at Edgefield in September. So I'm excited about that. Very excited about that. I already shared this, but I'm still very excited about my charango, my instrument that I got and played for you last time. I'm still playing it a lot, and she's even playing it now.
Well, I've started to learn ukulele. You're teaching ukulele lessons.
I am.
I decided that I'm going to start teaching ukulele lessons soon. So I figured I should learn how to play the ukulele first. But as long as you're just a little bit ahead of your students, then I mean, since I play guitar and violin, there's already some. I just have to learn a few things. So I'm learning ukulele as well. And
you're doing a good job. And I mean,
fake it till you make it, right?
The thing is, if you can play a charango, which has like an extra string,
ukulele.
Then ukulele is a lot easier because you only got one string. Anyway. But yeah, no, you're doing a good job.
So hey, go learn something and then teach it to someone else, and just act like you know what you're doing.
Yeah. Yeah, how am I feeling my humanity? I guess like right now, I'd say I'm feeling anxious. I've had a lot of anxiety the past couple of weeks. Some of that has just been waking with it. Some of it is getting overwhelmed by like little things. For us as church people, it's Easter week, so there's a lot of things to get ready and get done. So I'm finding myself feeling overwhelmed, like even my heart rate, I can feel it kind of doing that. So I'm trying to recognize that and to stay calm and to move slow. Because I found if you don't move slow and you're moving fast and you're not thinking, you might accidentally end up eating cat food. So that's me. How are you feeling your humanity?
Same thing.
Yeah,
same anxiety. So, my therapist gave me, it's kind of obvious, but especially if you're like having tons of things that you're anxious about, writing them down so they're not kind of like this floating anxiety. So I did that this morning, the different things, and just very quickly it was like, oh, here are the things that are causing stress. There's something about the tactile thing and like consolidating them so it's not floating. So helpful tip there from
your therapist.
From my therapist.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, I'm not as... I should clarify. I feel like I should be stressed about Holy Week, but I'm finding myself stressed about little things, like things that aren't connected to that.
Why should you be stressed about Holy Week?
Well, there's all this expectation.
Oh, I was going to say, because I think Jesus doesn't want you to feel stressed.
I'm pretty sure he doesn't either. But it's like, man, like setting up lights or answering my phone. Those things,
yeah.
Or returning a phone call. Anybody get stressed about returning a phone call?
Yes.
Those are the things
Voicemail,
that I'm getting stressed out about.
Oh my goodness. Checking my email, checking my text message.
That's kind of the sound in our house most of the time. Is that sound? Either, yeah.
Oh, being a person is hard.
Being a person is hard. So for the show today, we're going to be talking about, speaking of Holy Week, some people in different traditions of Christianity observe Lent, where they fast, where they go without something for 40 days.
I didn't do that this year.
Did not do that this year.
We have in the past. I just didn't do it this year.
Yeah.
So not a rule.
So we're going to talk about the idea of fasting or going without as a part of being human. So here we go. All right. So to kind of get into this topic, what is something that you've given up from? What have I given up from?
I give up.
What is something you've given up for a period of time?
Intentionally,
and what was that like for you?
I think the most I've gone without food is like 2 or 3 days.
Okay.
So that's the longest just not eating.
And that wasn't because the fridge was empty. You chose not to do it. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And I usually, anytime I don't like give up food, I find out what a jerk I am usually. I've got, I've given up different things for 40 days. I've given up like sugar, coffee. Oh, not drinking coffee for 40 days. The minute I drink it again, love it. Soda, love it. It's usually things that I feel like I'm becoming a little bit addicted to. I don't want to be. TV.
Yep.
So that's the thing is, like, the things that I've given up for 40 days, the minute I start again, I love them. It doesn't make me love them any less. I almost like, for health reasons, for a couple, I would say, how long did I go, like, gluten free?
I don't remember.
I feel like I went, like, almost a year and a half gluten free.
Yeah.
And I didn't feel any better, so I was like, well, this is not worth it. You and I think before we got married, didn't we give up French fries for like a year?
We did.
We got engaged.
We did, and regular soda. I gave up soda, I think.
Did I give up soda?
Maybe you did.
Oh, maybe you gave up regular, not diet.
I gave up regular.
French fries we gave up for a year. I don't know why. We're just eating too many French fries.
College.
Yeah. So I think that no matter how much my experience is, no matter what I give up, I feel like it reveals weakness in me, and how much when you give that thing up, that's all you think about. You want it. And so I think, I just realized how weak I am, how many things I'm addicted to that are socially acceptable.
Yep.
That are not, but, so it is a good experience though, whenever I do it, because it just teaches me, okay, I'm relying on this thing for comfort like Binkies.
Yeah, so for me, I would say that I would give up food for a long period of time as long as it meant I didn't have to give up coffee.
Yeah, I'd rather drink coffee than if I could choose.
Because and I'll share kind of what happens to me during a fast is coffee is an appetite suppressant.
Oh.
Which means that if I'm drinking coffee and I'm caffeinated, I don't feel as hungry. So it's kind of like it kind of keeps me from having to feel the suffering of that. The longest I've gone without food, I would say, was probably 32 to 36 hours. I was working full time. I think I was wanting to pray about a few things. And the first day was just awful. It was bad.
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing at that.
No, it's okay. It was funny. The second day, I think I began to feel myself almost feel like joy. And you feel good. Maybe it's because, like, hey, look at me, I got this done. And I broke fast the way that you're not supposed to. I had a triple cheeseburger from Wendy's because I earned those calories back. But yeah, I did that. This year in my men's group, one of the things that they encourage you to do is to go and fast and be in nature. Because like fasting kind of like alters your state of perception, which sounds weird, and it is, but it actually really is helpful. And so I've done that a few times, just for a few hours, and that's been something that helps me be a little bit more aware, more noticing things, and definitely recognizing, okay, I'm in an intentional place. I think sometimes when you give up something on purpose, it sets your focus a little bit better. But what I find happens to me, especially if I'm having to like fast for religious reasons, that I find a loophole.
Oh.
Okay, yeah. So last week, because I got to preach on fasting last week, I was like, okay, well, I'm not going to doom scroll starting Tuesday.
And doom scrolling, to be specific,
it means that I'm on Facebook and I am just mindlessly using my thumb to look at everyone else's life, which does not benefit mine at all. So I gave up on that, but I still felt the urge to check my phone. So what I found myself doing was, well, I need to just check and make sure my notifications, because I run a business on Facebook. So I'll look and make sure there's nothing there, and then I'll check and make sure there's nothing on my Instagram, and then I'll scroll my email. I found myself finding ways to scroll that weren't technically Facebook. And so I find myself that when I make it a rule, I try to find a way around the rule that's still keeping the rule. That's what I do.
Yeah.
So you're a much better person than me.
No. So that's like intentional.
Yes.
Going without.
Yes.
I think most people in life, though, have felt a lack of some sort.
Right.
Right now, I would say that we lack what I would consider adequate space
to do what we do. Yes.
But this is where we're at. So, have you felt like a lack in any area that wasn't intentional in your life?
I'm thinking.
I feel like I lack sometimes certain skills. Like I'm not good at certain things. So
yeah. And sometimes it's a cop out for me. I feel like I lack time to be in a good space to be creative that isn't rushed. Yeah. Because I can think of 1,000 other things I ought to be doing, or I feel like all of my emotional energy gets spent on things I don't particularly want to do. So by the time I have time.
You don't have any energy.
I don't have any energy to really want to do anything.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Which isn't true, right. But that's how I feel.
Right. And for a lot of people in the world, though, I mean, they literally.
Yeah.
Have a lack of food and clean water, and so, so many of us as Americans, we don't have a concept of that kind of lack. But it's kind of all a spectrum. Everyone at some point in life feels a lack of some sort.
Yeah.
Whether it's self-imposed, or just the nature of your life. So
yeah. So why in the world, if we have stuff, would we voluntarily go without it? I mean, I can think of some of the religious reasons, for like certain holidays and that kind of thing. But what's the point behind that?
What's the point? Well, I think that when, suffering will happen in life. It's just part of being human.
That's not true. If I have enough stuff, I won't suffer.
So I think fasting or going without, is kind of like a discipline. It's kind of like if you don't go without and then one day, you're not in the habit of experiencing lack or perceived lack in a specific area. So I had been out of the rhythm of intentionally fasting lately, and part of that's been from exhaustion for a couple of years.
Just a few years.
But I'm hoping to return into a better rhythm of that. So it's kind of like training yourself that, I can do without this. I can survive without television. I can survive without coffee. So it's...
No, you can't survive without coffee. That's not true.
I might be a jerk, but so I think it's kind of being in a rhythm of fasting is something that, you can learn to do without things. So that way when a type of suffering or something catches you off guard that you're not in control of, it can be a little less shocking to your system, and you've kind of already like, wait a minute, I've been without before, I can do this, so I don't know, to me that's kind of how I viewed it when I've done seasons of like rhythms of fasting before.
So it's almost like a fire drill for suffering.
It's exactly what it is. You're so smart. Side note, did you like fire drills as a kid, or did you hate
I
them?
got anxiety over fire drills.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Because the sound, it's like if I knew it was going to happen at some point, I'd be ready for it. Like I used to, like originally. Oh. But that sound is really, it does its job. It makes you want to run out of the building. So, yeah.
So anyway, I don't know.
Did not like fire drills.
Mixed emotions about it, yeah.
Yeah, I think another thing that's really good for fasting is that, especially for us who have abundance, when we have bad feelings or things we don't want to deal with, things like food, things like TV, things like technology, they can almost be like a lid that we put over our emotions, over the bad stuff.
Like a Band-Aid kind of.
Or a Band-Aid, that keep things from being felt.
Being dealt with.
And fasting is almost a way of like intentionally pulling that off and allowing it to come to the surface. And if you're going to do this, do it with a if you're in counseling, I mean, have a mental health professional say whether it's a good idea for you, have a doctor say whether it's a good idea for you to do it, have a pastor, spiritual director say whether, don't do it just for funsies, but sometimes peeling that stuff off does create an opportunity for those things to come out. Like you talk about how you feel like a jerk whenever you don't eat.
So maybe I'm just a jerk.
No.
But eating makes me not a jerk.
But those things have, I mean, there's information in that, right?
Yeah.
And it's stuff like, oh, I get to deal with this stuff. And I think like even just with spiritual people in church, fasting is also a way of kind of surrendering your comfort and surrendering your agenda. Because I've got a whole lot of great plans for my life that include not me suffering.
Most people don't
multiple
think,
scenarios.
My goal for life is to be without and to suffer.
Exactly. So I think that there is an element of that where it's almost kind of like you're stepping into that place and allowing God to take care of you there. And that I have trust issues with that.
Yeah,
it's hard.
And it's not about causing self-harm. I think that's not the same thing. For someone who's in the past, I struggled with healthy eating, mental stuff. So yeah, that's why fasting doesn't have to be just limited to food. Like if you have a medical condition or you have eating disorder issues, then giving that food is, so it's not meant to cause self-harm. That's really important. That's the difference. And it's not so.
And honestly, there are some good fasting dietary things that happen, but to do the kind of fast we're talking about, it's really not about, I want to have my beach body in 3 weeks. So
what?
Yeah, apparently that's not a good idea either.
It's more about, for me too, sometimes it's been things like TV or the news. It's what's that thing that I go to numb out or to not deal with my problems, and is it a good idea to set this aside for a while? What were you going to say?
I agree. And I think apparently we should still be on that fast because I find myself feeling very negative when
whenever you watch
whenever
the
I'm
news.
on the news or I'm on Facebook.
I didn't watch news this morning. I don't think I did.
I watched a little bit.
Okay. But yeah, I've said before, I'm like a disaster glutton. I'm like, show me all the bad things in the world. Let me know.
So why do you think it's important for creatives to practice fasting? Like, what does fasting have to do with creativity?
Well, I think we've talked about this before, that sometimes you can have so many options that you don't know what to create.
Yes,
so,
that is very real.
Like limited, sometimes if I'm painting or drawing, I'll limit myself, like, okay, use these colors. It just kind of reduces the options and what do I do? What do I choose? So I don't choose anything and I just sit paralyzed.
I think they call that decision fatigue.
Oh, wow. Well, I think it sounded more interesting when I
think the way you said it was way more interesting. Yeah, I think that's good. I think the other piece of it is that it's two things. It's like, for me, I can come up with 1,000 excuses about not creating because I want the ideal environment, the ideal mood, the ideal energy level. I mean, all of these things. And when you're fasting, you're not at an ideal level at all. So creating from a place of where it's not convenient actually helps you cultivate more of a discipline of creating, because it's no longer about, I feel like creating now, so let me do this. It's the other thing is that I think in some ways fasting can help make you create more honest art, because you're dealing with the stuff that you've been trying not to deal with. Yeah. So it's great. It provides creative material. Yeah.
Oh, that's very insightful.
Yeah. Those are just some things I think.
So
I think things sometimes.
There's so many possible prompts for this. I mean, there's just so many.
But I think it's just practice fasting in some way, shape, or form.
Well, I didn't want to limit it just to that.
Okay, well, what did you have in mind?
I always have so many thoughts.
That word. That's a hard word to say. I can't even say it. Superfluous?
It's a surplus. It's superfluous.
This is staying in.
Sorry about that. Like you all know, English is a very hard language. I was thinking as well, if you have a surplus of something, maybe consider someone who could benefit from it.
Oh, that's good.
And then,
yeah.
It's really, okay, here's what I'll say. Sometimes it can be fun. It can be like a fun challenge if there's something you have that you really love and you like it, but it's like, you know what, I should give this to someone, because it's almost like training yourself to give up something that you really like. It's just an idea. Like, there's certain art supplies that I really love. And I have like an Ipsy account from like makeup, where they send you, it's just like a little membership where you get different makeup supplies. You don't have an Ipsy account.
Nope.
But I'll get something like, oh, I love this. Oh, but I should give it to someone else. It's kind of like a fun like way of releasing something that you love, because it's teaching, it kind of teaches me that I don't have to have everything. I think we've talked about hoarding and that kind of thing before. So maybe find someone, but you don't need to say, I see that you're lacking, and so
Actually, don't do that. Even if the person is lacking, just never do that.
Yeah, don't do that. If you're creating something this week, limit yourself to your supplies or your materials or your color palette. We do this sometimes in songwriting.
I was gonna say.
Oh, go ahead and say it.
Yeah, no, like I'll have like 3 little bowls, and I'll put 3 options in them. Like one is like a song topic, one is like what guitar I use, the other is sometimes even like what musical type of scale do I use, and I draw from each of those and I write from that place using only those prompts. Was that what you're gonna say?
You said it so much more complex than I was gonna say it, because you're a genius. And I lack that level of insight.
Again, I ate cat food.
No. It seems that it enlightened your mind. So there's so many ideas out there. So
yeah,
share with us how you've done this yourself in your own life, and
what you enjoyed about it, what you hated about it. All those fun things. The song that we're going to do is a song that probably one of our most favorite songs to play. We usually close almost every show we play with it, is our song Home. It's off of our first record. And our full band did a performance on CCTV in Salem a few years ago. This was before the pandemic. And so we're going to share that video and that performance with you. Big thank you to CCTV in Salem for capturing that. And anything else am I missing?
Next episode, we hope to do it next week. Depends how lazy we are.
Yeah. Depends how this week goes.
Yeah. So we'll talk about the opposite next week.
Abundance.
Like kind of abundance and indulging, that kind of thing. So
cool.
There you go.
All right. Well, hey, we love you, and we'll see you soon. Bye. I am cooking.